Greetings, everybody. Tolozani, greetings, beloveds. Welcome to I.N.Healing, Ikhambi Natural Healing Sundays. To begin our session for today, I just wanted us to first begin with our breathing meditation before we start the discussions for the day. I would like everybody who has muted to unmute their mics so that we do the breathing meditation. Can you please rest your hands comfortably on the sides of your body, and then you can close your eyes if you wish, and then you take a deep breath in. Take it in, and just think of all those things that are holding you back and everything, and then release them slowly. Take another deep breath in. Again, thinking of all those things that you want to release that may hinder you as accumulating the knowledge for today, and then release. One more time, one last time. Take a deep breath in. Release. So I am going to ask everybody to participate on this one. We will be doing the pledge just to remind ourselves ukuthi sizeleni lana. So I've put up the pledge, the healer's pledge, which is the code of conduct in how we conduct ourselves during the sessions. Singabelaphi, we are healers. Can I ask you?
We are healers.
Thank you. We owe our gifts to nature, our ancestors, and our creator.
We owe
our gifts to nature, our ancestors, and our creators.
We live by the principles of Ma'at, Unhu, Ubuntu.
We live by the principles of Ma'at, Ubuntu.
We will approach each other with respect, honesty, and compassion.
We will approach each other with respect, honesty, and compassion.
We will offer our advice, recommendations, and ideas with trust.
We will offer our advice, prescriptions, and ideas with trust.
We will neither insult, dishonor, nor abuse one another.
We will neither insult, dishonor, nor abuse one another.
We will share, practice, promote, and raise awareness about natural healing, healthy lifestyles, and well-being.
We will share, practice, promote, and raise awareness about natural healing, healthy lifestyles, and well-being.
We will refrain from posting negative information.
We will refrain from posting negative information.
We will refrain from posting irrelevant information.
We will refrain from posting irrelevant information.
And falsehoods. Singabelaphi, we are healers.
Singabelaphi, we are healers.
Our gifts are a gift to humanity and nature.
Our gifts are a gift to humanity and nature.
We will give back to nature what it has abundantly given to us.
We will give back to nature what it has abundantly given to us.
Thank you so much, Makosi Kamaku. I would just like to remind everybody, I will read the medical disclaimer so that I remind everybody that the information that we are giving today is for information purposes only and may not be construed as medical advice. The information is not intended to replace medical advice or treatment offered by health care practitioners. So we get into the business of today, Damaku. So today's guest is a very beautiful soul. Her name is Nozipho Mutwa. She is the founder and CEO of the Credo Mutwa Foundation and Imbali Yesizwe. She's a qualified social worker and she holds a BA degree in social work and a number of postgraduate qualifications in the field of community welfare. Gogonozi is as affectionately called, and her late father used to call her Isis. Umkhulu uVusamazulu, the great Tisanus Umvusamazulu Credo Mutwa. Yes, and she has followed her prolific work as a mentor and to indigenous healer throughout South Africa. I will allow her to greet everybody.
Of course, thank you so much, Sisi and Giabonga, for this opportunity just to come and share what the Great One has taught me. I've learned so much from him. I've learned so much from different healers, not only him. I'm so honored. This is an honor from Ikhambi Natural Healing for inviting me. I feel so blessed just to come and share my little knowledge to the world. I hope they will receive it. And it comes from a lot of experience that I've went through with healers and also with Ubabu Vusamazulu. I greet you all.
As you guys were aware, we are in the season of Ujehuti, and for the season of Ujehuti, us as Ikhambi Natural Healing, we have thought it best to Sankofa, and Sankofa is it means that it is not taboo to go back for things that are at risk of being forgotten. So in essence, throughout the season of Ujehuti, we've been trying to almost remind ourselves of the little things or even the big things that are at risk of being forgotten. Gogonozi, when we think of Sankofa, when you think of a Sankofa, what does it mean for you personally as a human being when we say going back to basics? What does it mean for you?
Thank you so much, Nelly. I think for me, it's going back to basics. You know, there's a lot of things that have been lost through the cracks. There's a lot of patching that still needs to be done. If we say we go back to basic, we are going to patch all those cracks as you build. There are spots that you miss. So let's go back to basics and fix those spots in order for your house to be proper, in order for your house to stand. Let's fix the cracks. Let's go back to basics and check. Because it's very important to go back and check whether are we still doing things right, are we still doing things wrong, because we have children who are coming after us who like to take this legacy forward. So let's clean up our houses, of course.
So it's very important, but what I wanted to find out from you is that what has been one of the key things that you feel that we are getting it wrong and we need to go back to basics. Can you please take us through some of the things that you've identified that ngathi kuzomele sibuyele emuva kwantu siyobheka kahle ukuthi sizenza kanjani lezi zinto lezi?
Nkosi, I think for me, what was outstanding, things that needs to be fixed, it's going back to the spirits first. How do we fetch the spirit of our late ones? What type of trees do we use to fetch those spirits? Are we using one tree that is similar for everybody? Do we have different types of trees that we use to fetch different spirit for different human beings? So I want to start with that. Let's look into the trees that we use to fetch different spirits. It can be a male, a female, a child. Are we using one tree to fetch children's spirits? Are we using one tree to fetch female spirits? Those who have passed by, are we using one tree to fetch the male spirits? So for me, it's next to my heart that I've seen a lot of people missing that. I see a lot of people using one tree for everybody. They just blanket everybody with that one tree. But let me try and bring in my little knowledge in terms of let's look into this. And also another topic that is close to my heart is the one about ukuphahla as well. I think going back to basic, we need to do it right, because you will hear people saying sengiphahlile ngaphahla, but nothing is happening. So let's also look into that. Are we phahlaring right? Are we using the correct tools to phahla? Do we really have to phahla? Because there are other nationalities that they don't even phahla. So let's look into that. Let's look into different tools that other nationalities are using for ukuphahla. And also another one that was next to my heart as well is this one of, we are seeing a lot of people abayuza amabai, like the one that I'm having here, I'm having on my wall. We are seeing a lot of people who are using that. Are they using the correct one? What is it that is making you, what is it that is making me to use the one for a lion? Why didn't I use the one for a shield? Why didn't I use the one for a peacock? Why the lion, Isis? Let's go through this. Why are we using this amabai, amahia? Why are we seeing a lot of people? That's some people like me, I get frustrated at times looking at a lot of people, even children, besindwa amabai. Why do we have to go there? Why do you have to put it by for you to be known that you are a healer? You know, do you really need amabai ukuthi waziwe ukuthi now you are a healer? Fagibai. I also like to touch on that as well, and different amabai, amahia that are used out there and for what purposes. So those are my topics for today. I hope I'll elaborate a little more into these topics. But when I was thinking about this topic, I was like, these are the topics that a lot of people make mistakes about them. These are the topics that, if we want to go back to basics, these are the topics that we must do right. Especially the one about the spirits. If you say you are being caught, but the way you fetched your spirit, it was wrong, guess what? Going forward is going to be a mess until your children, they're going to follow into your footsteps doing it wrong. So let's do things right. Nkosi.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited already in terms of our discussion based on what you just unpacked. Okay, Gogo, can we please start off, Uguti, what do you actually mean when you say fetching the spirit and the significance thereof, you know, just so that people are able to understand which chapter are we at, you know?
Yes. Okay, let's start with fetching the spirit. I'm a Zulu, right? Fetching the late person spirit is very important for us, even for other cultures, not Zulus only, but the Zulus, they love fetching the spirit. Don't mess up with Zulus when it comes to them fetching their loved ones who have passed on. Mbini or they do it, and they know how to do it, right? So fetching the spirit, we have a tree. People love this tree. We have a tree that is named Nkosi. When you speak about Nkosi, even a child knows about Nkosi now, because a lot of people are using Nkosi. Nkosi in English, it's the buffalo tree, right? In English, they call it buffalo tree. A lot of people are using Nkosi. When your loved one passed on, let's say your loved one passed on the streets, you'll want to go fetch the spirit. When your loved one passed on in hospital, you'll want to go fetch that spirit. But the way people are doing it, it doesn't give dignity at all to your loved ones. It's, you know, when I see somebody who's carrying umlahla nkosi and going to fetch their loved ones from the hospital, from the streets, from everywhere. I look how, number one, you are carrying that tree. I'm like, if I was that ancestor, I wasn't going to climb into that tree, because look at this person, the way this person is carrying that tree. Each and everything that you do for the late people, you must respect it. Number one, it starts with you cutting that tree. Let's say, for example, I've lost a dad recently in March. The first thing that I needed to do was, I need to fetch him. Where did he pass on? I must get that spirit. I'm going to look around. Where can I get umlahla nkosi? Umlahla nkosi you can get everywhere, right? So the first thing when I located the space where umlahla nkosi is planted, the first thing that I did with the training that I received from him was to beg the tree, was to ask the tree, that tree, can I please cut you? And was to honor the tree, putting money down, white, like I had money in me, and then I had, can I please use you for my father? And I had, and I've put money down. Who took that? I don't care. But I'm going to put a little bit down to honor the spirit of the tree. I said, Mlahla Nkosi, I'm going to fetch Ubabu Credo Mutwa with you. Please, if I go there and I put you down, please allow my father to climb into you. And then I requested the tree before cut, and then I put the money down. I also ngashisa impepho. The impepho that I've used, I use the Khoisan impepho, right? Ngashisa impepho ukuthi this is what I use. Ngicela ukuthi ungizwe. We are going to Kurumane now. Come with me. So that when I put you wherever he fell, you must allow him to climb on you so that I can bring you home. There was a lot of drama around that, right? I took umlahla nkosi. I want you to listen to this. When I say it's very important to do things right, and it's very important to listen to your ancestors, what they are saying. It's very important. I cut umlahla nkosi here in Soweto. I'm taking my mlahla nkosi to Kuruman. I have a sister who was accompanying me. We do all our rituals. I do the rituals next to mlahla nkosi. We take mlahla nkosi, we wrap mlahla nkosi with a white cloth, because it's very important to respect mlahla nkosi. I use the white cloth to carry my mlahla nkosi to Kuruman. Arriving in Kuruman, I'm hearing voices saying, not with that mlahla nkosi. I'm like, okay, but is the correct mlahla nkosi that I brought to fetch you? Baba didn't want my mlahla nkosi from Soweto. Like, okay, Baba. I'm looking at my sister. We constantly forgot about this mlahla nkosi. This mlahla nkosi is in the car. Next time, this mlahla nkosi is outside, right? We are panicking. Baba come back to me and say, my mlahla nkosi, you are going to harvest my mlahla nkosi at night. I'm like, okay. How am I going to see mlahla nkosi at night? Baba was working with me, at the same time working with my brother, Ubhutbegi Uzalo. Ubhutbegi Uzalo, Baba told him that, umlahla nkosi, as you go fetch me from the undertaker, on your way going to the undertaker, there's a tree of umlahla nkosi there. Ubhutbegi Uzalo, using his aerial, he was able to spot mlahla nkosi. And my mlahla nkosi now is a seventh, you know? So I'm like, okay, it's very important to listen to ancestors. And then when we went, because we fetched Baba at night, around about 3, on our way, Ubhutbegi, at night he could spot and see umlahla nkosi. That means, because I'm Isis, I've been given a spear. I was thinking, It's me who's supposed to harvest umlahlankosi. Ubaba has other plans for me, not harvest. That was a very simple task for me. So I was excited. I wanted to do the task because I want things are done to be done right. Ubaba didn't want me to harvest umlahlankosi for him. Ubaba chose my brother, Oputbeguzalo, to harvest. Oputbeguzalo is a healer as well from the Mutwa clan. Ubaba chose Uputbeguzalo to harvest the umlahlankosi. Uputbegi went through the process as well, the process that I did with my Soweto umlahlankosi. Uputbegi did the same thing at night. We managed to harvest with Umam Sheila. We managed to harvest umlahlankosi kababa as we go fetch him to the undertaker. So what I want to say to people is that it's very important to listen to your aerials. It's very important to use the correct tree. We use umlahlankosi when we fetch male spirits. We use umlahlankosi when we fetch abantu abantu besilisa. I have never seen in my upbringing somebody using umlahlankosi for a female. Right? So umlahlankosi, now we know that umlahlankosi is only for male spirits. Never ever make a mistake of using umlahlankosi for female. It's not used for female according to the Mutwas. And a lot of people, according to the Zulus, they use umlahlankosi for males. And then we also have another tree. They call it marriage tree, right? And like, okay, marriage tree. Umganu. The marula tree. It's another tree that is also used for fetching the spirits. The spirit that you fetch with umganu is the female spirits. You can't use umlahlankosi to fetch a female. But what people have been doing, I've seen in hospitals, I've seen when I attend funerals, when I look, because I know different types of trees, I was taught, and I look, okay, did you go fetch your spirits? Yes, I did. Okay, can I please see the type of tree that you use so that I can learn? When I look into the tree, I'm like, my goodness, these people are using a wrong tree. Then it's a mistake. Then you'll say, I've been patlaring, I've been doing this, my grandmother is not coming back to me. Did you use the correct tree to fetch ugogo? And also, this Sumgani tree is also, in KwaZulu-Natal, they will say, isihlahla sabo makoti, to fetch the spirit of female. Of course. We have our tree as female. How good is that? Never ever feel pressured. You use umlahlankosi for a female. No, don't do that. Because I will never climb that tree. Your spirit will never climb that tree because you are using a wrong tree. There's a tree for everything. The only thing that we need to know is knowing the type of tree your family are using. In my case, umgano is for females, umlahlankosi is for male. I don't make mistakes with spirit because I know I'll tell myself that, oh, she has climbed, whereas not at all. Another mistake that people do with these trees, they take these trees to the graveyard. Don't. How could you fetch my spirit and also take my spirit back to the graveyard? It's another mistake that we do. And if you have done that, you still need to rectify it. That means you haven't done your work properly. Umlahlankosi or umganu is not supposed to go to the graveyard. You have fetched the spirit belongs at home. Now you are taking me, after working so hard doing the whole process, again you are taking your spirit to the graveyard. You are going to leave the spirit there. So the spirit, the trees, after you have done all your process, they don't go to the graveyard. We are fagethaleni phezulu. Endlini kagogo, we say endlini kagogo ihlala phezulu. endlini zethu, these houses of ezaselokishini, you need to pick up a spot lapho uphahlela khona uyifake lapho. If you can come to this house, you'll see Credo Mutwa spirit. It's here next to me. I took it as like, Baba, please, today I'm going to be saying something, please accompany me here. Yeah, my buddy. So I engage him, I talk to him, I'm happy about this. Another tree that I don't know why is that people, they don't take children seriously. The spirit of children serious. How come we are not taking spirit of children serious? People only fetch an elderly person, they fetch an elderly woman, but you hardly go fetch the spirit of a child. How come we are doing that? Konamanje, we talk about idlozi lamanono, right? You hear people, they are saying, Nina manono. You know that amanono, some of these children are part of amanono dlozi.
It's very important.
So how come you lose a child, you lose a son, but you don't fetch their spirit? Do you know that there's a tree that you use to go fetch children's spirits? We have, ancestors have order. It's you who's messing it up. It's you because you don't ask relevant question. You assume. It's wrong to assume. There's a tree that we use as Zulus. I'm going to say as Zulus, but as Africans, there's a tree that we use to fetch children's spirits. There's a tree that we called umtole. Umtole tree, right? Umtole tree, other people, they call it a fever tree. You can use this fever tree when somebody has got fever. You can use it. It's a tree that is used to fetch the spirit of the children. And it's also a tree that you use when you've got, now I'm teaching. It's also a tree that you use when you've got eye infections. Look at this tree of fetching children. It's so rich. You use it when you have eye infection. You use it when you have fever. Nowadays, we've been struggling with COVID. This is the tree you can boil and drink. But the very same tree is the tree that you use to fetch the spirit of children. Children are next to my heart. So for me to understand this tree, I was like, okay, abantu abadala ngiyababona, good shots, but what about the kids? Are we saying we don't have any tool for fetching the spirit of the children? We do have. Did you know that we have a tree for fetching the children's spirits? Yeah. It's umtol. It's the fever tree. It's also good for eye infection. Use that tree. But I'm not going to blanket people because I'm not about blanketing. I'm sharing my knowledge. But now you know we've got 3 trees that you can use to fetch the spirit. Guess what? If you do this part, this is the basic part of fetching the spirit. A lot of people are saying, we are healers. I've got the spirit. I've got that. Did you really go and fetch your late people, your ancestors? Did you fetch them? Did you fetch them? Maybe you are swimming in that confusion because you didn't even fetch them. And there are ways of doing it. Maybe it will be a topic of another day of some ways. Let me just share a little bit about, let's say, for example, you have you have your brother who are staying in one of rent. Nowadays people rent, right? They are renting, and it happens that within those rental houses, they pass on. To go and fetch the spirit of your brother who has passed on in somebody else's house, you need to go fetch your brother. The first thing, before you go with, because you don't want to cause drama and people see you carrying umlahla Nkosi gate and say, hey, Mlungu, come, let's go. No, you respect the ancestors of that family. You go in, you talk to them about the process. You talk to them about at home, this is how we do things. Can I please come and fetch the spirit of my brother who has passed on in this house? But I'm going to cleanse the yard. So you'll find out, you're not going to tell them first. You say, can I please find out, family, what is it that you use to cleanse the yard? Because I want to cleanse my brother's spirit that has fallen into this house. Other family members will tell you, let him booze. Imbuzi yakho ibe nemali phezulu. Good. Because you love your family so much, you will do exactly that. Before you come with your tree, you don't want drama when you're carrying that tree. You don't need a lot of noise when you're carrying that tree. Then you do that ritual first of appeasing the ancestors of this house, the cleansing ceremony of this house, before you go at the gate and call your brother. Then when you go fetch the spirit of your brother that has passed on in Emzini Wabantu, now you are not entering the yard. You stand outside the gate. With your, if it's a brother, you are carrying your Nkosi with you that is covered in white cloth because you respect the spirit of your ancestor. Then you call your brother at the gate, not inside. Because and call your brother with all the names. Your brother will attach himself into the tree, and then as you move, you say, my brother, I'm moving with you. I'm taking you home. Simple as that. If you do things simple, you don't become complicated. Guess what? We were not going to have people abasindo amabai, abangazi indaba zabo. We'll have a country that has order when it comes to African spirituality. There's nothing simpler in African spirituality than doing things right. If you do things right when it comes to African spirituality, there are not going to be a lot of drama. So we've spoken about Nkosi, we've spoken about Umgano. Let me share another thing about Umgano, right? Umgano is also good for moms. Did you know? Umgano you can use for moms. Moms is a giga ngesizulu. You see people, but they are swollen here. Those are called moms. Ngesizulu ozagiga. We are mtata, a person who has the moms. You take your loved one or whoever that you're helping to a mgano tree, and then gently making that person tap umgano using the cheeks. I'm telling you, in 3 days' time, all the swollen glands will be gone. If you know how to do things right. Going back to basics, I love this. Let's do things right. Of course. Can I continue with another topic?
Thokozani Gogo, before you can continue, I just wanted to highlight some of the teachings, and then we have a few questions that you may need to answer, Gogo. So first of all, what I'm gathering from what you just said is that, first of all, the importance of asking nature for uzotata into. We must always remember to ask the nature permission to take whatever it is that you want to take. And then the second thing is that you must know your mission as a person. And then you must also respect other people's callings, in a sense that in as much as you may think that you are the one who is called to do a particular task, it might be that it's not actually your place. It might be somebody else's place. And then the importance of listening to your ancestors, because sometimes we get things wrong. We must also vet at a consistently that idlozi elikhulumayo noma sekukhuluma mina uNelly or ugogo Nozipho, like we must know that. And the lastly is that idlozi nomsindo. It's very important that whenever engaging ancestors, idlozi alihlale la kunomsindo khona, or alibi khona la kunobuxhwanguxhwangu nomsindo khona. So I'm just to recollect in terms of some of the teachings that I'm gathering from what you just said. So we've got a question from Usiza or Nkosi. She says, in terms of fetching the spirit, is there a way to fetch spirits of our fathers who died in foreign lands, so who were in exile? How do we bring back their spirits? And then the second question, still from Usiza or Nkosi, what's the difference between Umlahla Nkosi and Ihlahla?
Okay, of course. Thank you so much, Caesar. Yes, there's a way of fetching your late or your ancestor spirits. You can be able to do that. First, you need to know where bawelephi, and then you'll find out there are so many graves there. You'll be carrying umlahla nkosi lowo, and then you're going to call the name of your mother, of your father, or your brother in that space where you think they passed on. Because when you call them, let's say I take Umlahla Nkosi and I go to Avalon Cemetery, I'm not going to go inside, I'm going to stand at the gates at Avalon Cemetery and call my sister's or my brother's name and believe, because a lot of African spirituality, you need to believe that it happened. And when you believe that it happened, then you will see with dreams that whatever that I was doing, it came through. Because once you have fetched them correctly, they will come with the dreams. You will see, you need to be somebody who's so observant that you'll see changes. So because we are too busy, sometimes we are unable to see our hard work, right? Because you'll be standing at the gate and say, Raquel, Mutwa, other people, they will think you are crazy, but it's okay to be crazy for doing the right things. Ngizokuthatha Mutwa, ngizokuthatha uyamthakazelela, ngizokuthatha Msweli, nali ihlahla lakho, right? Umlahla Nkosi is the name. Ihlahla is the same thing. It's the same thing. Igama lehlahla umlahla Nkosi. So you call ukuthi woza Mutwa, woza uzogibela nali nangumlahla Nkosi wakho, nali ihlahla lakho. You know, and then you believe when you leave that my brother is coming with me in this, with this tree. Because a lot of our spirits, you won't see them, but you feel them. Let me make another example. My mom passed, my dad passed. I came with Ihlahla, Lagababa here at home, and my mom is already here at home. I come here, I do a ritual. I said, Ma, I'm bringing your husband home. You've been alone in this house, now Baba C is here. What I'm going to do, because I don't want you to be all over, I'm going to put you in one place. Ma, you know that your husband was married before. So, but because hence I'm going to combine you as your child. And then I combined my mom and my father within a blink of an eye. I was like, hey! And then tie them together. Guess what? Your mind, you need to focus on the task that you are doing. I was feeling heat that was going through my body. When I was combining my mother and my father, I was shivering. I was combining them. At first, I was scared. I was like, am I doing the right thing? What was it correct for me to combine them? But with dreams, and as the dream came, what I did was correct. My mom has been longing for his husband. Then I combined them. Then they are together. All of us as children, we can talk to both of them. We are happy.
Usiza, I believe that she probably has another question. She has her hand raised. Caesar.
Thokozani Gogo, and thank you for this really enriching conversation. And Gogo Nozipho ngiyakuzwa man, you know,
because I think it's also an issue, Jane, of South Africans, you know, in terms of people who went to exile and never returned. And we are sad story, we don't know where they ended. Was it Tanzania? Was it Angola? Even if we had an idea, I mean, just getting there would be a mission on its own. But I'm wondering, Uti, I don't even know if spirituality allows for such things like ukuya nje mhlambe esihlanganelweni, like in an open field and call their names, because we really have no idea abantu bayanyamalala or abantu banyamalele during those days. So I feel, yes, that's what I really want to know, because there's no definite space where people died. And even if there is, it can be anywhere in the world. Do we even, like, because I believe wonke umuntu kumele aphindele ekhaya, wonke umuntu kumele ukuthi ekhaya azophumula. You know, a lot of South Africans actually are going through the same. People just disappeared. And like that part, you know. But how do you bring him back is my question. I hope it makes sense.
It definitely does make sense. How I wish our country, as we go forward, our country can see the importance of fetching the spirit and the importance of telling people where are their loved ones. It's very important, because you don't have closure. You don't have closure, but you can create something. There are so many things that you can do for you to have closure, even though they are not there. You tell them that, yeah, you tell them at home and say, Baba, Ma, how I wish your spirit was here. But it's unfortunate, I don't know where you are. One day, so that you can have closure. One day, please come on a dream. Tell me where you are. Were you buried in Tanzania? Were you buried in Angola? Were you buried in Mozambique? Were you buried in Swaziland? Please show me the signs. And be focused. You know they will show you the signs. And believe that they will show you the signs. It's just that when now we want things to happen now, fast. Sometimes your signs, you'll never see your signs now, or your signs, the signs will come from your children or your cousins. Or also tell them how important it is that Ubaba can come home, and they must also listen to the signs. Idlozi kuthiwa liyezwa. The more ulibiza empepheni the correct mpepho, lizokuzwa, and idlozi will come eventually. It may take time. But how I pray and wish that our country could give us closure. Let them tell us where can we go and find our ancestors. Somebody, that's one person. There's one person who knows. There's that one person who knows. But because maybe that one person is afraid to say, ish, if I can say, maybe they'll want this and that to me. Also beg the ancestors that touch somebody so that that person can come and tell me. It will happen. I can share a lot of stories about things that I didn't know about the Mutwas, and things they're opening up. I ask myself, oh, they have to be opened now? How come you didn't tell me then?
You were not ready, probably, Gogo. That's what I'm thinking. You were probably not ready to receive. Even if you had received the message, you wouldn't know what to do with that information. So now probably I'm just thinking that they probably are comfortable in the fact that Ugogo Nozi will know what to do with this information right now. And then I have another question, is that if there is umgano, is a tree that is not very abundant here in Joburg, is there alternatives that you can use apart from using ihlahla? That's the first question. And then number two, it touches on what you just spoke about now, is that in as much as we understand that our ancestors do come and speak to us and let us know through our dreams, how do you then differentiate that this is a good, because in the spirit world, there's good and there's also the bad, the counter, the exact opposite, you know, because you might find that you are having dreams about this person who has died probably in a mountain somewhere and needs to be fetched or something like that. But then how do you know the spirit le also ithatha also ifaka la endlini? Is it a good spirit or is it a bad spirit, or is it even related to you? Because some of us we're starting to come to the realization that sometimes the spirits that don't even belong to our bloodline asingenayo. So then go.
It's sure, it's important. The cleansing ceremony then comes in, because once you fetch that spirit, then you must cleanse that spirit. So there are different types or different ways of cleansing and making sure that the spirit is clean as it comes inside the house. So you also do, there are so many rituals in Africans. There are so many rituals. It's just that sometimes we skip the rituals. So you also cleanse with, if uyidlozelihle, ngicela ukuthi wenze kanje, you are specific when you speak to these ancestors, because sometimes we are afraid to be specific, you know. After cleansing, there's a ritual. Other people, they will use a chicken to cleanse. Others, they will use imbuzi to cleanse. Others, they will use inkomo to cleanse the spirits. But spirits, they still need to be cleansed as well. For you to be able to say, idlozi lihle leli, idlozi lami lasekhaya, lizongisebenzela. Even when uphahla, you need to differentiate with, hey, I'm phahling the good, the bad, and the ugly spirits, but please come and do work with me. Because sometimes we need those gangster spirits. They have a role to play. Yes, they have a role to play, because sometimes you can be focused on only the good spirits, but one day you walk into the streets, people want to beat the hell out of you, and then that gangster gogo will come in and say, not with my daughter. So sometimes we need these bad spirits, so that they have all the spirits, they've got the role to play in our lives. It's up to you. When you call them for what? So when it's good, I want the good ones next to me. When there are things that I don't understand, I'm like, hey, come you. I know you were a gangster. Come next to me. I know of my gogo, when I mess up, she'll beat my head like, oh, yeah, pap. You need those gogos. You need them. Sometimes things are hard. You need those bad ones as well. Of course.